Can awakening cure an addiction such as smoking, drinking, gambling? Yeah, but also no. I didn't know it, but I was actually addicted to sugar. So I had that big awakening in 2011, and then I carried on eating like I regularly did. I wouldn't say like I was eating sugar all the time, but I didn't realize until I came off sugar that there was physical addiction to sugar. I don't just mean refined sugar, I also mean carbohydrates. Yeah, and I didn't realize how strong sugar addiction was. So sure, it can happen afterwards, but it also can cure, because when you really, really see experientially that freedom is this moment and not a time-bound thing, that is going to profoundly shift the dynamics of the person. But I'm not promising it fixes everything, because I also know it doesn't from my own experience. And there's always going to be this shadow of a character. And if you've had 30 years or 40 years of being addicted to drinking or smoking or gambling, then, you know, maybe it's really strong in the body. I suspect it would shift it most of the time, but I wouldn't like to say that. I would recommend that you go and do what the society recommends, which is like AA. There is a good speaker who is an AA coach for alcoholics, and his name is Paul Hederman. I think he's on my website reference page, so you could check him out. I think he has lots of success and is an ex-addict, and yeah, helps lots of people worldwide. And he has a book about addiction, I think, as well. There's also so many books out there about addiction now. Now, and comment in the box below if you know books or things that Larry could look into. My experience with everything is that nothing comes for free. Like, awakening is free in a way, because it's what you are, it's your essence, it's a birthright of everything. But most people have to calm themselves down and stop going into so much suffering, or understand and pull themselves away from suffering. And there has to be a disillusionment with the personal self and with you and what you're getting from the world. So there has to be a shift. There can, in exceptional cases, be spontaneous awakening, but you often see that that's around, there has been a loss prior to that of their sense of self. But most of the time, people go through a spiritual practice where they're questioning who they are, where they're undoing their dynamics, where they're becoming more integrated, becoming more self-aware. My experience is that some people really get that when they come into this, but some people come into this, mostly people that feel disempowered, and they're looking for a free ride. You know, if you've been addicted to something for a long period of time, you know, it's going to be work getting off it. You're not going to get your free ride. And I think addiction is really hard. Like, I only stopped eating sugar. I didn't even realize I had an addiction when I fell over and really hit my head. You can maybe see the scar up here. I did it a few years ago. You might, if you follow me regularly, you might have seen that I was away for a month or two because I had really bad concussion. And then when I really realized that the passing out wasn't because of sugar, but that we all are sensitive to sugar. And it wasn't just because of that, there was other things that included as well. I just stopped. And it took a few weeks, but then when I was off, it was actually, I realized it was addiction. But I assumed that I wouldn't have been able to stop if there wasn't like all this stuff that I'd done and worked on in myself the years prior to that. You know, when I was really young, I was a bulimic. I'm an ex-bulimic, which they say is similar to alcoholic, I think, and a gambler. You know, back then, I wouldn't have been able to give up sugar because it would have just most probably brought on bulimia, you know, an eating disorder. you know, that to be many years of working on that and understanding that psychology and why I was doing it. And there's normally always reasons, like I was doing it because I was massively emotionally suppressed. And I was, you know, helper. Psychology wise, I was a helper. I was always trying to make people around me happy. And I still have a tendency towards that, but I'm so aware of it. I mean, you could say like this looks like a big, massive helper complex, like talking about non-duality. But ironically, I think that I got into non-duality in a way to help other people. Like if I became the perfect person, then it would mean that other people will be happy. You know, I won't cause them any unhappiness. And then also, if I can find the root problem of all the problems of every humanity, then they can be happy. I can help them to be happy and free. So my helper mentality actually brought me to this. But it's also something I still have to work on to an extent, to not get into doing that. Like I can easily give too much and take too much. I am a recovering helper. Who else is a recovering helper? High five. I am a helper. And I am a magnet for narcissistic characters. Helpers often are. I am a magnet for them. They smell them out. She has weak boundaries. She likes to help people. She overemphasizes. Hello. Might someone first have to deal with the denial of having these thoughts and feelings? Yes, most people are in complete denial about their thoughts and feelings. Complete. Like sometimes I'm sitting talking to people and it's like, I'm so unfooled a lot of the time. Sometimes I'm fooled by people's thoughts and feelings. But they're like, recently somebody was showing me something of theirs and there was a problem with it. And like instantly I could feel they went into shame, and they went into this massive story to try and get out of shame. And I'm just stood there like, you think you fooled me? You're just feeling ashamed of it, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. It as perfect as it is. But I'm not going to say that because that's too confrontational for the person. They don't even know they've gone into shame. To them, they're just like suddenly get like motivated to tell a big monologue, but they're protecting themselves from shame or disempowerment or not looking good. And you know, I was just joking about I'm a magnet for narcissists. Like that was me being just one-sided. I also have in the past and still have an attraction to narcissists because I know the role of how to be with a narcissist so well that it's like in my family. So there is also a going towards that. So it takes two to tango. And that is my like, nope. Look away, Lisa. Look away. Go in the opposite direction. They're so freaking fascinating. Look at all the information they know. I mean, the great thing about narcissists is they do tend to be brilliant at things. Yeah. None of us can escape these dynamics because, you know, we're trained. So if you're trained to appreciate narcissists and to look after them and always to give away, there's going to be the impulse. Just like the way a dog's trained, it's like the impulse of this body. In awakening, what freedom is that none of these dynamics, none of these movements are going to bring you freedom. So me giving a narcissist their supply of energy isn't going to bring me freedom, or the narcissist being happy isn't going to bring me freedom. I don't need to make the narcissist happy in order to be free. Like as a child, you know, I was scared if the narcissist's not going to happen, I'm going to die. I have to make the narcissist happy. Whereas now it's not true. There might be some fear that comes up in the body, but it's not my freedom. The freedom is always this moment. And those are just reactions appearing, which you should be conscious of. All of us should be conscious of this shit. This is the way, you know, we're currently conditioned as humans. So be conscious when it's happening, but it's not your freedom. Your freedom is always this moment. And also human dynamics are really unclear. Sometimes it's so hard to understand what people want or don't want because they're always not saying it and trying to get it inadvertently or overtly.